Alright guys, so this is the second part to the video. So in this part I'm just gonna cover how to create the masking effect without having to worry about these edges or cutting them down or sizing it up to make it look a specific way. So again, the first thing is just placing it where I think it should go. Doesn't mean it's going to be its final placement. It's just going to give me a good representation of where I would like his lips to fall, nose to fall, and eyes to fall. I can either offset it, center it, or offset it to the other side. I'm going to center it for now. And then what I'm going to do is bring the opacity back up to 100%. And then I get Andy's Warhol, which is really kind of just popping. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and go into my brush mode. And within this brush mode, what I'm going to do is take my opacity, which usually would be set to about 100%. But for this section of the assignment, we want to bring this down to get our blending modes rolling. So the lower we can get that down, the more this image is going to blend with what we're doing. So I'm going to get it down to about a 13-15%. Bring it up a little more. So let's go about 15. If you can't get it exactly on 15, you can always type in the value right in here. I'm not going to type it in. I'm just going to go ahead and scroll it to that selection. Once I have it set, my flow can stay at 100% if I want. I'm not going to mess with the flow at all. I want to make sure that my modes are set to normal, and I don't have anything set to multiplied or darken or dodge and burn, so normal. And then once I have that set, what I want to do is make sure that I have a soft brush selected, a soft brush, something that's going to give me soft edges when I'm trying to blend out. Once I have that going, what I want to do is look at some of my other settings to make sure that I'm working properly. Always make sure that we're working in a black and white setting, so you want to make sure that you press the default button, right? And then what we want to do is we want to bring this up as high as possible, or high enough to be able to remove information. What we want to do is make sure that we mask first, right? So I didn't mask there, I was just working on the original image. So we want to go into our layers panel, which is right over to the right, and at the bottom you'll see a link FX, and then you'll see a masking channel there. So you want to select that. I know some of you guys are used to working with adjustment layers. If that's the way you want to approach it, feel free to do that. I'm going to go a little bit more old school, and I'm going to work with just a regular mask here. So I'm going to start masking and give you guys that perspective, and then excuse me, I'm going to stop the video and then go ahead and start giving you some more information on the last video, so series of 3. So anyway, so I'm going to start masking out, meaning that what I'm going to do is work with this black channel box. And what I like doing is I have this clicking technique that I do. You guys can just hold it down and it'll work the same way. I, for some reason, am a big fan of just the clicking. So this is where you guys can get really creative and go, what do I really want to focus on? Meaning, do I want to focus on just getting Andy's face in there, or getting his hair? How do I want to give Andy the representation, or how do I want to represent his face within his hands, right? So because we have these sharp edges, or because we have a box that's representing his face, I'm going to mask out that whole section all around. I'm even going to mask out part of Andy's chin here to blend into what we have here. Now, one of the things we're noticing right off the bat is that Andy's face is really overexposed. So one of the things we can do is try and control that with some of our settings within Photoshop, or we can work with some of our settings within our modes to try and get this thing to balance out. So I'm just going to bring this out as much as possible. And once I get something that I'm comfortable with, I'm going to move on to trying and make corrections that are going to fit the face a little better. And you can see how the mask is working. You can see how it's not affecting the actual photograph, so that's still intact, but it's the mask that's doing the bulk of the work. Anyway, so I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to move on to the next part in my next video. Thanks, guys.